Today, we're going to talk about who I believe to be the GOAT, the greatest of all time. For me, because that's subjective. To say like Jimi Hendrix versus Yngwie Malmsteen or Eddie Van Halen or Randy Rhoads or Jason Becker, it's ridiculous. It's just a matter of opinion. So let's just start there. I'm from Boston, and we have a few really awesome bands from this era, you know, like Aerosmith or Boston or my friends in Godsmack. But growing up, there was a band called Extreme and a guy named Nuno Bettencourt who was growing up, despite being from Portugal, a little bit down the street from me in Hudson, Massachusetts. I remember the first time I heard Extreme Porn and Graffiti, and it's Extreme 2, technically. And that's the record with more than words, because, you know, whenever you say the band Extreme, it's, you know, say I love you. Because that's what everyone knows. Because in like 1990 or 91 or whatever the hell that was the biggest song of the freaking year. Everyone knew that song. Nuno kind of fell into the same thing as a guy like Paul Gilbert, who's I'm the one who wants to be with you. Where they're both these incredible virtuosos that can play, you know, Paganini and Mozart, but they're known for these ballads. Growing up, that was what I expected when I bought the record. What I got was some of the most incredible rock and roll I've ever heard, because first off, Gary Cherone, what a freaking amazing singer that dude is. But Nuno, Pat, and Paul Geary, man, talk about rhythm. The thing about Nuno Bettencourt, the reason he's so awesome, besides his amazing hair and the fact that he has like a feather hanging from here and all of his mojo and his cool jeans that have like writing on them, because he's a rock star with his black nail polish and his jewelry and his mulery, and he's just awesome. He's such a musical player. He would take what a guy like Brian May, again, would do, like this super whimsical, incredible musicality to it, like just singable melodies to his playing, but then he would do something crazy fast and super percussive, where he's like, you know, using his right hand to get this fast, shreddy thing. Like if you go and listen to Play With Me. For those that don't know, when I first saw Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Beethoven goes to a mall, and inside that mall, it was Beethoven's freaking keyboard solo that was actually Nuno Bettencourt's guitar solo, because he wrote something so classical and so crazy and musical that as a child, and anyone watching Bill and Ted could think maybe Beethoven would be playing that on the keyboard, except it's Nuno Bettencourt on the guitar. That's off the first Extreme record. Extreme 2, Porn and Graffiti. That was the record where the whole world, I think, really woke up and said, holy crap, who is this long-haired, Washburn playing, black nail polish, fast, ferocious? It's Nuno Bettencourt. The thing about Nuno is he took a little bit of that Randy, he took a little bit of the Eddie, he has the finger tapping and all that sort of stuff, and he took it to a different level. And this was at a time that YouTube didn't exist, the internet didn't exist. And I know that Nuno laments about this, because I am lucky enough to call Nuno a friend of mine. In fact, we did a song with a band called Lost Symphony. It's Nuno, it's Marty Friedman, Alex freaking Skolnick, and Richard Shaw, all together on a song called Take Another Piece. Talk about one of the greatest moments of my life is actually getting to play with one of my favorite players. Listen, man, I put together a song with Marty Friedman, Nuno Bettencourt, Alex Skolnick, and freaking Richard Shaw, nevertheless Kelly Karoluk, the incredible guitarist from Lost Symphony. We actually got featured in Guitar World magazine. In fact, I'm sitting in front of these guitars here. My buddy Amit wrote a beautiful article on Lost Symphony, and he asked Nuno, how did Benny get you to play on Lost Symphony? And he said, he held a gun against my head, which is not true, but not far off. I chased Nuno for 5 years. I'm friends with everybody in Extreme. I'm like, hey, will Nuno play on my album? They're like, well, let us know when he wants to play on our album. Nuno Bettencourt, he just has a stage presence. He has a panache, he has a mojo where he just walks out, and he's kind of got like that Prince mojo where he's a little bit androgynous at the moment because he's got beautiful hair. It's like so Vidal Sassoon, like just, you could tell he smells good, and he's like, he dresses to kill, but he just plays like he's going straight for the jugular. In fact, Amit asked me when we got him on the song Take Another Piece with Lost Symphony, how did you get into play with so much chromaticism? And I can tell you, Nuno was angry at me. I annoyed Nuno. And in turn, he was like, I'm gonna serve him with my solo! In fact, when I first heard Take Another Piece, the first thing I did when I called Nuno, crying, man, I love you. Benny, Am I fired? Fired. This is the greatest thing ever. I have Nuno Bettencourt, the goat from Boston. First off, He-Man woman hater. Oh my God, there's a song, there's a little piece at the beginning of it called Flight of the Wounded Bumblebee. It's the craziest thing. It's this new, you gotta listen to it. The guitar solo from Get the Funk Out. See, that's the thing, it is so funky. He has horn sections. Nuno sings, he plays keyboards. He's just like this Renaissance player. But at the same time, still the greatest guitarist for me. With that percussiveness, with that super fast arpeggiated thing that he does, and he starts turning his head all fast, and you can see his fingers, and he's going all crazy. I can't do it. So if you guys ever wonder, if you're ever freaking wondering if I play music and what I do, I'm the guy that wrote that song, put it together. I produced it. That whole band Lost Symphony, that's my brainchild. It's funny because Nuno kept saying, Benny, I don't do this kind of music. I don't do this kind of music. Meanwhile, I'm like, dude, the whole side of Extreme 3, like with Brian May and the orchestra, is totally what I'm trying to do. So that's it, man. Well, I played in a band called Lost Symphony, and I have a song called Take Another Piece with some of my heroes. One of them being the one, the only. He's always number 4 in my book. Nuno freaking Bettencourt. Don't you forget it.
Why don't you smash that subscribe button already?